Today we are going to create this 3D colorful text reveal in Blender. This is very easy to create and you can use it to reveal any text you want. So let's see how to make this. Alright, so here we are in After Effects. You can know this is Blender. So we are probably doing a Blender tutorial after a very long time. So do let me know in the comments if you want to see more Blender related tutorial on this channel. So now let's begin. So before we proceed, at this corner you will be able to see all the keyboard shortcuts that I am pressing. So in case I don't mention any, just refer to this area. So first I am using this Blender 3.5 version, but this should work with whatever version you have. Anything higher than 2.8 would work. So first we are going to select everything by pressing A, then press X to delete it. So the thing is, we are going to first create our text by tracing it or using the bezier curve. Then we can have some animation onto it. So for that we can use a reference image. So let's press Shift A and I'm going to go into the image and let's click on image as plane. And here I have this image that I just simply screen captured from YouTube. Now you can get something like this by just simply searching for Apple hello text and you will get something like this. Now the issue with this is that we are going to trace this using the bezier curve, but what if you want to create some other text or you want to type something else? So for that there are two ways in which you can do that. There are a couple of fonts. So here we have this font. So these are a couple of fonts that you can use which have like pretty much similar feel, because that font is custom for Apple and it is not available for download, but there are few fonts that you can use. So for example, we have this one and we have this and we have this one which is pretty much very close to it. So it's completely up to you, can use whatever font you want. Now if you want to trace it with the text, then press Shift A. Let's add a text. Press tab, you can type whatever you want. Let's type motion. Let's press tab again. Then you can go inside the font option section and so you can pick whatever font you want. Just make sure that it has nice rounded edge. So for example, we can use this, and if I hide this by pressing H, you can see we have this font and we can trace it out easily. But if you don't want to do that, then you can use this image. So let's see how to do this. So first I'm going to press numpad 3, or you can just simply click on this to go to the x-axis. Now we can select this plane. Let's press R X 90 degree and then RZ 90 to get it into the front view. We can press S to scale this up. Now we are ready to trace this out. So the tracing part is also very easy. So first we are going to press Shift A. Let's go to curve and I'm going to add a bezier curve. Now let's press tab, go to the edit mode. Press R and I'm going to rotate it so that it's a straight line. Let's press tab again. Now let's press R and let's press Z 90 degrees so that it's a flat line. Now we can go back to the side view. You can click on this X or press numpad 3. Now we can align it and just type our text or using this spline. So let's select this line and press tab. Now we can do all the operations, like for example pressing G and let's place it over here. Let's press R to rotate it. Now we can select this point and let's press G and we can place it at this angle. Let's scale this down, press R and let's scale this down a little bit more. So here you can see we have this line and we can do the same thing with this as well. So now we can press E to extrude it and let's create one more point over here and let's press R to rotate it. So these are some steps that you can use to trace this out very easily. Let's press R and let's press S. So here you can see we are tracing this out. Now at this point we basically want this to go once again from the front of this, but for that we can do it later on. For now we can just simply press E and let's add one more point, and after that let's trace this out furthermore. So we can again press E to extrude and you can see we are typing it very nicely. Now these are some steps that you can do it precisely. So let me just quickly do and trace all of this text and I will come back once it is done. So before we continue, if you enjoy my work and you want to support me, then you can check out my Patreon page. Over there you will get access to the tutorial project files and exclusive templates that are available only on Patreon. So make sure to check it out. Link for that is in the description. Now let's continue. So now the tracing is done and we can press tab again. Now we don't want to see this background, so we can hide it by clicking over here. Make sure to hide it from the viewport and the rendering as well. So just uncheck these two. So here we have our text. Now the problem with this is that you can see that it is in 3D but it is actually 2D. So we can make it more 3D by simply moving all of these areas like in the Z or the X space. So let me show you what I mean. So if I press tab, you can see that all of these lines are like aligning it with each other, so we can have little bit of gap between them. So for example, we can select this and I can simply press R Z to rotate it like that. So here you can see now we have this 3D sort of curve. Now we can do the same thing with this one as well. So press R Z and let's just rotate it first along the x-axis like this. Now we can rotate it along the z-axis like that. So here you can see we have this curve, but from the front view it will look the same, but from the side view you can see that we have created this little bit of curve, and this is fine. And we can do the same thing from here as well. So we can select this point and again let's press R Z to rotate it and RX to rotate it like this. So here you can see we can move it by pressing G X, and let's move it behind. Let's press R Z. So you can see that we have this E, and it will look the pretty much same from the front view, but from the side view you can see that we have created this 3D arc. And let's do the same thing from here as well. Perfect. So here we have now our text is in 3D, and once you are happy with this, we can add some 3D skin to it, so which is actually quite easy. So all you have to do is just make sure that this is selected, then you can go inside the curves option. We have the geometry, and if I increase the depth, you can see it will add some 3D outline to it. We can increase the resolution as well. So I'm going to set this to 10, and you can see that right now our text is overlapping a little bit. So we can fix that again by pressing tab, and now we can just move these points like little bit far away. So for example, GX. So now these lines are not touching each other, and we can select this, press GX, and let's move it little bit ahead. You can do the same thing with this one as well. So here we have the HE, and for the L it is perfect. You can check it out from different angles. And we have to fix the O. Select this, press GX to move it to this point, G and X to move it over here. And if I press numpad 7 from the top view, we can also see. Perfect. So now none of the edges are touching, and we are happy with this text. So if I press 3 and press tab, you can see we have our perfect text. Now once you're happy with this, we can add a camera. So right, press shift A, let's add a camera. Now let's go to the item, and I'm going to set everything to 0. Let's rotate it along the X by 90 and along the Z by 90 as well. Now we can move it along the X axis like that. So for the camera, we can go inside the focal length, and I'm going to set this to something like 120. Let's press numpad 0 to get inside the camera. We can move it back by simply using this X slider. And there is one more thing. So you can see that right now the edges are not smooth. You can see we have jagged lines, so we can easily fix that. So but before that, let's select this, press shift D to duplicate this so that we have a backup copy. And I'm going to hide both of these, so make sure to hide it from the viewport and the render as well. So once you're happy with this, you can press tab. Let's press A to select everything, then right click, subdivide, and you can open this up, and let's increase this up quite a bit. Let's right click, subdivide once again, and press tab. So now you can see all of these edges are very smooth. Perfect. So we are pretty much done with this. Now let's quickly light our scene and add some color to this. So we are going to use the cycles rendering engine. Make sure that this is set to GPU compute, and here we have everything. So we are going to use an HDRI. So let's go and change this to shader editor. Select this to world, and we have this background. So if you have Node Wrangler installed, then you can simply select this, press Ctrl T, and it will give you all of these nodes. But if you don't have it, then you can like manually add these. So if I press Shift A, you can search for environment texture and then plug the color into the color and then have a mapping node and do all of these things. But you can install the Node Wrangler, which is very easy. So all you have to do is just go to Edit, Preference, and then go to Add-on. Just search for Node Wrangler and make sure that this is checked. So once you're done with this, we can open the HDRI by clicking over here, and I'm going to use some HDRI from the Polyhaven. So I'm going to use this Studio Small, and if I click on it, you can see we have this. Now you can get this HDRI from the Polyhaven website. So all of these are free, so you can use whatever you want. So just go to polyhaven.com/HDRI and you can download whatever you want. I'm using this one. So here you can see we have this very nice lighting, but we are also able to see the background. Now if you want to play with the right lighting, then you can rotate the HDRI. So if I rotate it along the Z axis, you can see that now it will give us different results for our text. So I think this lighting looks good. Perfect. So once you're happy with this, we can get rid of the background by simply going under and let's go to the fill and make sure that the transparent is checked. Now we are not able to see the background, but we want to have a custom background. So for that we can add a plane, and let's just scale this up. Let's press R, Y 90 degree, and let's get out of the press G, X, and let's just place it way back somewhere around here. We can press S to scale this up. So here you can see we have the background. Now let's add some colors to this. So let's select our text and let's go to the object mode and let's click on new. So the coloring part is also very easy. All we have to do is just simply select this, press Ctrl T to get all of these nodes, and let's move it over here. We can delete this by selecting this, then press X. Let's press Shift A. Now we are going to search for ramp or color ramp. Let's add it over here, add the vector to this, and this color will go into the base color. Now you can see we are able to see something. Now if I move these closer, you can see we are able to see both the colors. I'm going to go into the dev mode just for a quick preview. Now we are going to plug the object into the vector, and if I move it a little bit, so you can see that we are able to see the colors like that. Now we want this to be vertically, so for that we can use these rotation elements. So for example, I'm going to rotate it along the Y axis. So let's rotate it by -45. So now you can see we have all of these colors. Now we can move it to the center as well. So we can, by simply moving this. So let's place these somewhere in the center like that. Now let's make it into the center of this. So somewhere around here. Now it's in the center. Perfect. Now we can add more colors to this. So all we have to do is just simply click and just select whatever color we want. So let's make this one like orange. Now we can add more colors by simply clicking on this plus. And this one we can make it blue. And let's add one more. Just click on this plus and it will add more colors. And let's make this one yellow. So here you can see we have our colors. Now we can go to the cycles rendering engine. Perfect. So here you can see we are able to see our nice colors. Now there is one more thing that you can do. So let's select this, right click, and we can set this to shade smooth. And we can add some more lighting to it to really enhance this out. So for that, let's press Shift A and let's add a light, area light. Now we can scale this up, press R, Y, let's rotate it by 90 degree, and we can go outside. We can actually rotate it along the Y axis by 180 degrees so that it is facing front. Let's press G, X, and I'm going to place a light at the back so that we have some really nice highlight edges. So let's go inside the light options and we can increase the intensity. So this will add some really nice edge light. So if I hide this, you can see that we are able to see some really nice lighting at the back. So we can add a little bit of light from the top as well. So let's press Shift A, let's add a area light. Let's press GZ and let's move this to the top, and we can scale this up quite big, and let's increase its intensity as well. So here you can see we have very nice highlight at the top as well. Now the bottom part we can also lit it up using a light. So press Shift A, let's add area light. For this one, RX or RY 180 degree so that it's upside down. Let's press GX or Z. Let's move it down below. Let's increase this up, and for this one we can increase it as well. So now you can see we have lit our scene from all the directions. Once you're happy with this, we can animate this text very easily. So the animation part, we can go inside the curves property as well. So if I go to the start and end mapping, you can see we have this end factor, and if I lower it down, you can see it will start adding our text. Now let's animate it. So for that we can select the timeline. Let's go to the very beginning and we can add a keyframe. Let's set this to 0. Let's click over here to add a keyframe. Let's go to somewhere around 60 and I'm going to set this to 1. Let's add keyframe again. Let's select all of them. Then you can press T and you can change this to bezier, linear or constant, whatever you want. I'm going to set this to bezier so that this curve starts very slow, then it speeds up. Now you can see we have this opening. We can fix that by simply clicking on the cap, fill cap, so that these starting and end point will be closed. There you go. So this is how you can create these texts. So once you're happy with this, you can just render this animation. Let's set the endpoint to our last frame, which is 60. And once you're happy with this, we can render it out. So for the rendering settings, we are going to set the max samples to, let's say, 32. It's completely up to you. You can use it depending upon your system. Make sure that denoise is checked. And after that, we can go inside this. And frame rate, it's up to you, whatever you want to select. You can pick whatever location you want to save this file to, and make sure that this RGB is set. Compression, we can set this to 0. Depth, we can set this to 16. And after that, you can render this out. So for rendering, you can go to render and click on render animation. And after that, it will render out sequence of frames, which you can combine in whatever software you want. Otherwise, you can create a video file. So FFmpeg. From here, you will get a let's go to encoding and let's change the quality to high quality. And now if you render, you will get a video file instead of image sequence. So whatever you want, you can do that. So this is how you can create some 3D colorful text animation in Blender. So I hope you learned something from this one. And the project files for this tutorial is available on Patreon. So if you're supporting me over there, then you can download it from there. And if you're not, then you might consider it, because you will get access to the tutorial project files and exclusive templates that are available only on Patreon. So make sure to check it out. Link for that is in the description. And with that being said, my name is Abhishek and I'll see you in the next one.